Hey everybody, Sam Burge here, and here's my review on How to Train Your Dragon 3. Um, the story was epic. It was paced in a way where it was like it dragged out in some parts, but it was telling a story. The only parts I could see is when they do a lot of the scenes with the Night Fury and the Light Fury. It was paced so you could see how things were interacting with dragons. It was actually the one time in the movie where a lot of people weren't talking and it was the dragons started doing their growls and their murrs and sort of like just doing their own things. But the other side plot is Hiccup realizing he has to be the chief and he has to learn that he has to let Toothless go. That's what ends up being in the story. I called it in my thoughts video, and I called it when I walked into the movies. But the whole story starts off a year after How to Train Your Dragon 2. So wow, it's been a year. In this timeline, it's been a year between Hiccup and Drago Bloodfist 2 now. So a lot's happened in this time span of a year. So it's like, okay, makes sense, but what can I really say is watching it developing. Hiccup for a whole entire year now has been stopping hunters and releasing dragons and saving them, and these group of people that are wanting dragons to use for their armies are getting kind of mad because they're kind of doing what Drago Bloodfist was trying to do, was to control dragons, to conquer people, to destroy people. But they get mad because their success rate is just plummeting down. And they all realize, because now Hiccup has made a name for himself, it's like, well, we all know who's doing it. It's like, they're not playing stupid out. Who could have done this? Who could have done this? They throw it out and they're like, oh, well, it's actually Hiccup of Burke who's doing all this, that's causing all this commotion. So they basically hire this guy that's like an expert dragon hunter. And he's all like, well, you have nothing of my interest, kind of that storyline. They're like, well, he's got a Night Fury. And that's when you later on discover that his whole entire goal in life is to hunt all the Night Furies down. And he's done that except for one, which is Toothless and the Light Fury. So they kind of use the Light Fury as bait in the beginning somewhat to lure Toothless. But because of this, and they realize that this Grimwald has been on their island of Burke because he released the Light Fury on there, they're like, okay, we gotta move. So what they end up doing is abandoning Burke completely, because they're basically saying, we're a red target just ready to be hit, we're small, we're defenseless. So what they end up doing is moving to another island. And then this is where the Light Fury she's used this bait, but because after they move, she follows them. They realize, okay, I'm trying to explain, it's like they use her as bait, but they move, so she's kind of free roam at this point, and she gets to interact with Toothless a lot, which you see the little dancing scene is where Grimwald loses her, but he ends up finding a way to where they're at, and that's basically because Roughnut, one of the twins, the female twin Roughnut, sorry if I pronounced the name wrong or if I labeled on the wrong one, but Roughnut basically gets captured, annoys Grimwald, but Grimwald uses her as bait to find out where they all move to. And when he does that, he basically, that's what's set in motion. But before that, Hiccup breaks out, which is a key Easter egg. He breaks out the prosthetic tail he made for Toothless in Gift of the Night Fury. If anyone who watches How to Train Your Dragon has kept up with the series, they'll realize this tail was made for Toothless to free fly anywhere he wants, and he does. He brings that back out, patches it up, fireproofs it. Like you can notice in the How to Train Your Dragon series, a lot of the technology that they have has advanced since then, and basically they're using it to their advantage. But if you look at the tail, you'll realize it's from Gift of the Night Fury. So I mean, the Light Fury and Toothless run off for a while, like it's like a couple of days in between the scenes, and Hiccup's kind of getting worried and whatnot, but they use Stormfly, which is Astrid's dragon, to find them, and they find and discover the underground world. There they realize Toothless has become Alpha. So like, not only was he Alpha of the dragons of Burge, he is now Alpha of all these dragons underground in this like coral reef kind of area. It's an underground place that the Light Fury shows. And a few things I want to throw in real quick is also the Light Fury shows Toothless some more abilities, and that's cloaking. Like, if anyone's wanting to know, the Night Furies and the Light Furies have this really cool way of using this like type of like fireball and cloaking themselves into it. So Toothless not only gains the little tail fin thing, but also learns how to make himself invisible through the Light Fury. So which is really nice that since Toothless was kind of like a lone dragon, his only kind, didn't know nothing about himself, and is now learning from a non-domesticated Light Fury how to use his abilities. So it was really great. And I'm just going to sort of come to the conclusion is the Light Fury and the Night Fury do get captured. Toothless kind of has his own moment where, like, you know, Grimwald's all like, well, it's else, you're alive for the Light Fury, you know, and Toothless is wanting to fight for his mate, his girlfriend, what do you want to call it, is alive. So, like, you know, he's telling everybody, back off, don't do anything. But, you know, Hiccup kind of comes in and saves Toothless now, which I want to say is like the second or third time Toothless is saved. I mean, Toothless has been saved by Hiccup in a way, but if you watch the series, it's always been back and forth with those two. It's sometimes Hiccup, it's sometimes Toothless, but they're best friends and they always have each other's back. So he comes in and saves, and then the finale with Grimwald. I got to see some of it because I took my niece to the movie, so she had to use the restroom, so we kind of missed the epic fight. I'll probably see it again sometime soon, but they had the epic fight. Grimwald loses, and I'm assuming falls to his death. He falls in the water. He's kind of like Drago Bloodfist. Falls in the water, and that's about it. But let's talk about the ending. The actual ending. When Hiccup realizes it's time to say goodbye. I will admit this. Tearjerker. It was a total tearjerker for me. It's like Hiccup knows what he has to be, and Toothless knows what he has to be. And, you know, it's like Hiccup's just like, you know, it's time. It's time we say goodbye. Hiccup realizes that the world isn't safe for himself with the dragons, and the dragons aren't safe with him because of the world. Because the world is still on this, like, one-track mind kind of sort of ordeal about dragons shouldn't be this or that, you know, kill all dragons. It was that kind of scenario that broke it down. It came down to that, to be honest, and it was kind of sad to see it because, you know, it's always sad to see those moments where, you know, the wild animal, it's like I said in the thoughts video, is the wild creature has to go to the call. The human has to do what he has to do. You know, in this case, Hiccup has to become a chief on this new island, rebuild the Burke prestige, you know, because they left Burke. Burke's gone. Like, Burke is completely abandoned at this point in this movie. It's like, it's gone. But I loved it. After Toothless leaves, there's a beautiful wedding scene with Hiccup and Astridge. You know, it was really a really nice scene. You know, tying up all these ends. And what you get to see, which I thought was the best ending. You know, I thought it was going to end where it's just like the dragons are gone. But it ends in a way, it's pure. The purest way I could say is, it ends in a way that's so good that it can't be beat. You know, it shows Hiccup with a family on a boat, and he's sort of talking about the dragons. Like, you know, he's like, back in my day there was dragons, all sorts of dragons. Well, they take a boat, and Astrid and Hiccup have 2 kids this time. And they're about, I'd say, 8 or 9 or so. And they go out and see Toothless out in the wild. Now, at first, you're like thinking, oh God, like, you know, Toothless attacks Hiccup or something. Well, it kind of goes that way. Because, you know, after 8 to 9 years, you know, Toothless would be an alpha, more wild. But then he realizes who Hiccup was. Like, their friendship had never died after that long of not seeing each other. And we discover that then Light Fury and Toothless have kids. They're kind of, it's really cute the way they set it up. They have them where they're like calico cats kind of style, where they're patches. Like, one's all white with some black patches. One has black body, white chest, like your stereotypical black and white cats kind of. That's how they kind of set it up with this. But it was really nice. It was a good ending, and I just want to say I am so happy with it. It was beautiful. It was done well. I think to send this movie off to be the final last installment is great. A few things I want to say as a fan. Don't make any more. Like, if Netflix thinks they need to pick up and do a series, don't. I would definitely recommend just letting this series ride as it was. It was beautiful as it was. It ended beautiful. Just let it end. We gotten 2 seasons to bridge the first movie and halfway, then the 6 seasons on Netflix to the second movie, and then we have the third movie. And with that thing only having 1 year time span, it's not enough to make a series out of. It's not worth it. I don't think it is. I really wouldn't want, a part of me would want another series to bridge the second movie to the third movie, but at the same time, I'm only saying this as a fan. The Netflix series was iffy with me. I liked it, didn't like it. There were some parts I liked, and there were some parts I was like, no, don't do any more. But all in all, How to Train Your Dragon 3 was an excellent movie. And I thank you all for watching. Tell me what you think if you've seen this movie. Please like, comment, subscribe. And have a nice day. And I just gotta say, damn, How to Train Your Dragon 3, excellent. Good send-off. Execution of stories, bouncing in between 3 different stories. Hiccup, Toothless, and the villain. All 3 of those stories just mashed into that time period. Done well. So, yeah. Thank you all for watching. Enjoy.